This evening, today I have a very interesting professional with me who is a mentor to young people, youths. Is a teacher, but he's also a youth mentor. He works with a lot of youths. And so I'm glad to have here with me today Bolu Abels. Bolu, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much for joining this session. So, just a backstory again. This channel is basically about educating people, young people, especially that are just coming up with their profession and ability to be able to help people to understand the need for financial planning, what we call legacy, and what are the things that we can actually, embrace to do this. So before we go on into the question, into the storytelling and all of that, please can you just can we know a little bit about you and what you do?
All right. Thank you very much. My name is Bolu Bells, like you introduced earlier. I'm actually a technology consultant, so it's not exactly like I'm a financial advisor or something. So everything I say, of course, with a pinch of salt, it comes from a good place, from experiences, education, skills, conversations, mentorship, stuff like that over time. So we've gathered a lot of things here and there, right? Yeah. So, like I said, I'm a technology consultant, and I help people find solutions to their problems. So I guess that's also part of what's has spilled into this world, right? So I do that. But apart from that, just like you mentioned, I also work with young people. It's my pleasure to do. I've done that for quite a long time. So I teach every avenue I get. I teach people both young and old, in professionally also, in terms of technology world, business analysis world generally, and then more specifically, young people in youth church, right? So I teach teenagers in several churches, and right now, in my current church, Peace Church Global. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, many people see teaching, which is what you do, because basically, working with young people is takes a lot. It's a lot of sacrifice. So it's something that it's about giving. So how has that mind? That being in that space of working with young people, how has that influenced your mindset with approach to money, and of course helping others to manage it?
All right, thank you very much for that question. So, I'll say that one of the major things about working with young people that has helped me in terms of, or that has motivated me in terms of keeping at this, because like you said, yes, it's a lot of work, is it's a naturally felt passion for me. So it's an outflow. It's something that can naturally happen. As much as my day can be demanding and tiring, when I have the opportunity to share or to teach or to talk with somebody, a young person, to help them, it doesn't feel like I'm expending all over again. So it's something I can do and do and do and just continue to do like that. And I like it, right? And it's also because I understand some things from retrospect, right? Things I would have loved to do better in my own life if I could go back, right? So I've learned about some key values that I wish I learned earlier. So the best way to use that new information, since it's already past the timeline I would have wished I got it, is to help people that I see can still benefit, to make sure that they have all the information necessary and they can make better decisions and be happier, and in their grown ages. And that kind of gives me joy that yes, they're doing better. I tried. That's worth it. Even if I didn't get all the benefits, I can see somebody got it. It's good enough
My
for me. Yeah.
God, that is deep for me.
Yeah.
Bolu, that is so deep, which is actually the reason why we are doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That those mistakes that we made or those things that we missed, it's just opportunity to, just like evangelize about it, and in any way that you can influence younger people to embrace it, early, than, I mean, take the opportunity
Exactly.
than
Exactly.
when we had,
Yes.
so now that takes me to the real deal. I want you to tell the story regarding your sister. I'll call her yours. I mean, she's your sister. Right from when she came into Canada, and then I'm sure even before she came into Canada, yes, there would have been some things at the back of your mind. But now let's start from when she stepped into Canada, and I know she's with you. She stays with you. So, can you give us that story, and then what were the things that prompted you? What did you do? Why did you do what you did? And what impact did you think that it was going to make for you to have done what you did?
Okay. All right. So yes, it's interesting. It didn't even actually start with Dami here. Like I said, it started out with personal lessons learned, right? The things that I got to know and I wish I knew earlier, because it will have affected the kind of decisions I made and the kind of actions I took, right? Because when we know more, you do better. That's one of the
Yes,
things I've learned over life, and
yes,
I actively work towards that. When you know more, you do
yes.
better. So when I found out some things, I mean, I have other family members that have come here also that I quickly put, I just have a template, right? That I put, across that, guys. Now listen up. You're here now. This is the way to go, right? So, and people have been doing, but of course, like you said, you spoke with Dami, and I think Dami is probably one of the most, okay, not even the most recent, the penultimate, right? That I've, shared that with, that adopted it, and of course, enjoying the benefits of it, right? So it's something I share. I share with everybody that cares to listen, everybody that I know that have the opportunity, that I know that I have some privilege of being able to speak with and to speak to, especially if they are now in a place where they put me in some position of, that's my brother, he will guide me right. My own brother, everybody, I just let them know this is how to go about it. Because like I said, it's lessons learned. And the most important of the lessons is time. Time is an ever persistent, never tiring soldier that just keeps marching forward. Nothing stops it. It just keeps marching forward. So once you get the gravity of how fast time is, I saw a meme some days ago. They said that it's scary to think that it's just 8 weeks to another January when we are still trying to shed the weight of the last January. We're
Indeed,
still trying to lose the weight that we gathered
indeed,
the last
yeah,
January. Now it's 8 weeks to another
indeed.
one, and I was just laughing. It's that fast. I was asking my children, teens in church, can't you remember when we were doing Happy New Year just some weeks ago? Here we
Exactly.
are already in November. So once you get the gravity of how fast time goes, how unrelenting it is, it doesn't get tired. It just doesn't stop. Take a break for a second, for a minute. Once you get it and you understand what it can do for you, then you just run with it. Even my own children, I've been, from ages where it made no sense to them, I've been teaching them about the effect of time on decisions, right? Especially when it comes to capitalizations, interest expense, and interests end, right? So you borrow money, you think it's just 1K, it's just $100. What's the big deal? Just wait 2 months, wait 6 months, and you see what it has become. Same thing if you invest $100 and you think it's just, what does that do? Just wait. Same 2 months, six, and you will see that, wow, just like that, without having to do any other thing, time does its bit. So once you make some good decisions that rides the positive side of time, you will enjoy it, because time also has the negative side, right? So that's
Exactly.
that's that's what motivated me. So when she came, let her know, okay, good, glad you're here now. This is the way to go. Of course, first thing we'll try get a job fast. Once you get a job, this is how to go. You know, you don't give yourself the liberty of just spend and I'll just leave. que sera sera, whatever will be. No, 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 no. You are the one that would make things be. So set things in motion. And she's been doing that. And you don't need to even know or understand so much about it. Once you just, okay, let me just do, and you see the effect, you will be motivated to continue and to do better, right? And like I said, it's more about education. The more you know, the better you do. So that's the first thing I encourage everybody to do. Yeah, this is a template to go, but then educate yourself about it so you have an intrinsic motivation to do better instead of just relying on somebody else's word throughout, right? Even I'm sure your son is in my class, right? So he will tell you some of the things lessons we've done in church. We do maths in class. People come into class and why in the world are you teaching maths? And yeah, they need to understand what it means when we're talking about talent. The parable of talents, the parable of dollars. We're talking about how you spend money. A lot of them get allowances now. They don't get the gravity of it. They just spend it.
Yes.
And yeah, it's okay to spend. I'm not saying it's not okay to spend, but once you understand the possibilities that come, then you can start to reevaluate that, do I really want to go that way? Maybe I just want to do something else. It's that knowledge. When you know, that you can choose better, right? Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, a follow-up story, a follow-up question to that will be that I'm not sure if what you know, I mean, if you knew what you did for Damilola was what you call putting structure to your finance.
Yes. Yes.
Now, can you help us break down that structure?
Okay.
That's what the layers of things that you helped her to put in place just to avoid the que sera sera like you mentioned before.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I want you to help us break it down, because I mean it was very interesting to me when she said, well, I don't want, I mean, I don't want to say this based off on what she told me, because she said that you helped her, you did, so I want you to help us break down those things that you did that helped her to just put that structure
In
in our
place.
finance, because money comes naturally.
Yes.
But if it's not directed, it flows anywhere,
It
it
just
flows
goes like
away.
that. So yeah.
Exactly. So, can you help us break down that structure? You helped it to put in place, and then for, I mean, each tool, and so just
How we went to about it. All right, that's
exactly.
good. Let's do that. Let's do that. Now, so the first thing, like I said, is education, right? Um, so I think my story of understanding money started from some parables, right, like that, as well as reading a book called The Richest Man in Babylon, very a young age, right? It's it opened my eyes to some things, and it had formulas in it. It had formulas in it. And over time, I've been exposed to so many other people who have formulas to, this percentage of your income should go here. Your house should never be more than this many times your income. Your car should not be more than, So all those kind of principles just flying all over. So I came up with something for myself that worked, right? But like I said, I found out that there are some things I wish I knew earlier because I'd made some decisions that it was already too late for me as per what I would have loved to do,
Yeah.
right? So when I saw somebody that had a clean slate, I was like, very good. Just start with this right from beginning. You will do so much better than I am doing right now. And like we said, so let's talk about the breakdowns and the tools and all that. So one of the first things that we know, and of course, because I'm a Christian also, that matters to me, right? So that will feature in some of the things I say, and I hope that that is okay
Sure,
with both you
sure,
and your
sure.
audience,
I'm a
right?
Christian too,
Okay, that's
so
cool.
and I'm proud to be
So
one. So
all right. So
yeah.
one of the first things is, of course, let's do the whole lump sum, the whole apple that comes in. That's 100% of your income, right? We give a tithe. 10% of it goes to tithe, right? So you have 90% to work with. Now, I say, come what may, as long as you're starting from a fresh slate, like I said, I'd made some decisions that were making it impossible for me to live up to that. So I just had to adjust my own personal template. But then I saw somebody else who could do better, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if where possible, your expenses should not be more than 50% of your total income. So you had 100, 10 has gone to tithe, 50 goes to expenses. So 60 is consumed. You have 40 left. Now, the 40 is what now goes into the reoccurring and naturally growing investment buckets that just makes you have more to spend. If effectively what happens over time is the 100% starts to grow. So what was 40% before will now increase. Your new 40% 2 years down the line will be more than your old 40%. So when even if your percentages never change, the amount changes. So you can live better, you increase better. For some people, it grows so much that you don't need up to 40%. You can reduce the amount, and yet you're still balling, right? So effectively, once we settle that, now one of the things we did, I created some buckets, right? I know that for a young person, I'm going to use her case study and somebody coming to Canada, starting fresh. You may not apply all over the world, but at least that's the template. Then you can adopt, anybody listening can adopt it to their own peculiar situation.
Yeah.
So I knew that of the key things: you want to get a car, you want to get a house, you want to, have money for shopping, you want to, everything wants to happen. Good. Said the very first things that I've noticed that helps with especially how Canada is structured and the ability to have respite funds for the grown years is one, wholesale insurance, right? Whole life. So the very first one I did for her was to establish a whole life insurance policy,
Oh
right?
my God.
So one of the beautiful things about a whole life insurance policy is when you pay for your insurance premium, you have that set, maybe 2 million or so at grown age, so you're good. But in addition to that, you can have top ups, right? EDOs, the extras that you want to add to say, I want to effectively bank myself, right? I want to establish a bank for myself. Just the same way RBC exists, CIBC, you establish your own personal bank and you start to build your capitalization. So once you put money in it, in your EDO, it goes there. What happens is you have access to spend that money or to borrow that money from your own self. That it's called the cash value, right? The cash value of your banking. So by the time you have access to your cash value, the original money you have in your account is not touched. It continues to grow.
To
It
grow.
continues to get invested. It continues to add. I think as at today, it's doing 6 point something percent, right? That it's adding
Yeah.
every day, continuously, steadily. It's adding that. Then you can now borrow the money back and use it to do whatever you want to do. But you didn't lose your original capital. If I have $10 in my CIBC account now and I withdraw it and I use it to buy something, it's gone.
It's gone.
That $10 is gone from my account and it has exchanged for whatever I bought it with. That's the end. I don't
Exactly.
have it anymore. But the
Exactly.
beauty of my cash value is if I have $10 in my bank and I borrow the $10, my original $10 stays there, continues
And
to
it's
grow,
working.
and then the $10 I grow, I can now use and return. And once I nail it off, all the time that was happening between, I don't lose it. I was growing my investment. That was one of the most beautiful things I loved about it. And that's what the first thing we did, established that, right? Whole life insurance, right? So we did that policy, not universal, not all the other variants. Everybody has different types of insurance
Exactly.
and they have their different pros and cons. The
Yes.
singular reason why I am a proponent for whole life insurance is because you can have access to it now while you're alive, and the money, and you don't lose the money. You don't lose the money, right? That's the beautiful thing about it. I learned about that from becoming your own banker. That policy, right? It was just beautiful. So that's one. The next thing we did was establish a fund for stocks, right? So now the beautiful thing, like I said, we're playing with just 40% that is left. So we just took that 40% and establish different buckets, right? Let them just be going there. You don't need to know what is happening. You don't need to understand it. Just let it be going because you can't know everything on earth, but there are systems established. So just let it be flowing into the different buckets and you don't have all your eggs in one basket. So after the whole life has been done, I got her to open a Mocha account, right? So Mocha is a Canada-based money system where it helps you achieve goals. So you just set yourself a target, you put money towards it, a steady bit. So one of the things you can say in Mocha, there are two ways you contribute in Mocha. You can say, I want to contribute $10 every day, or $5 every day, $1 every day, any amount. And then, or any amount I spend out of my account, round it up to the nearest 10, then take the difference and put it in my Mocha account. So if I buy coffee, for example, $6.40, they will take the balance to round it up to nearest 10, which will now be $3.60, right? So they just put $3.60 in my account. So to me, I had a $10 drink and I just move on. And those tiny expenses, you don't know how much it rounds up. So by the time you do that, I mean, right now for me myself, I think I do $5 daily. So it's not something extraordinary. 35 bucks a week. And if you check it, what that should amount to at the end of the year, it's not much. It should be what, 365 times $5, right? So nothing stupendous. It's not even up to 2K. But because it is
Compounding.
compounding over time. At the end of the day, at the end of the year, your $5 a day can amount to 2,500, depending on how the market performs. Because the money you're contributing, they trade with it for you, right? And the beautiful thing I love about it is it's without fees. It's without fees. So, for example, I don't even need to worry about vacation fees, all those things. I just set the goal every year. I need 2005 for vacation. I need 2005 for this. I need 10K for my policy. So I just $5, $5, $5, and at the end of the day, it's done. And the year I don't need it, it rolls to the next year, and next thing I have one, I woof 6K. And then suddenly, of course, my wife remembers that, I want to do something. I don't need to just dip hand in my own pocket at that time. I just take,
Yeah.
and I'm good. So it spares me of future expenses also. So we did Mocha. So whole life insurance, we did Mocha. Then we did Wealth Simple. Now, all these templates I've also taught my children in church. So your son should have all these accounts if you actually did what we did in class, right? So Wealth Simple is another one that we did. Now that one's strictly, for trading, right? Stock trading, right? So we buy shares, I get info, oh yeah, buy this, buy this. If you don't know what to buy, not a problem. Buy index funds.
Exactly.
VOO, VQ. Just put there, and you can do recurrent, you can do one time, and it's TFSA also. It counts, for all the purposes in Canada. It's beautiful. So, oh yeah, Nvidia wants to do the. You can buy fractional shares, you can buy crypto, anything, you throw some there, right? Then, of course, first home savings too, put some there. So, and that's the thing, all those different buckets just established. And I'm like, you want to buy a car, so we'll put a goal. So all those ones that are personal purchases, we put them on Mocha. So she has a car savings account on Mocha. It's the car goal on Mocha. And I'm like, you know that you pay insurance for cars every day. So I made her start to save insurance every month as if she already owns the car. She doesn't own the car, but she's already stacking up insurance. So by the end of the year, she already had some huge amount for a policy. I'm like, but you see that now you don't need to worry about it. Whenever you have the car or store, or guess what? You can add it to your EDO. It's growing. Or guess what? You can. So, and then by the time we did all those buckets, so whole life, Mocha, Wealth Simple, First Savings, Primerica, put some money there to all
What is
those
that?
buckets.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be huge, small amounts all across. Then after some months, I was like, so how are you doing? Let's see. And then of course I still give, we made arrangements for spending. So just every month, just because you have to reward yourself too. The more you have those endorphins, the easier it is to do the other things. If it
Yeah.
becomes punishments, you will dip hand in those savings stuff. So we just agreed, okay, have this money, maybe some $100 a month, just to spend anyhow, right? So, and the month you don't spend it, good. Roll it over to the next month. You have more money to spend. And then any month she wants to spend much, come and meet me. Yeah, please now. Let me just do extra $50 from next month. So we laugh about it, and then eventually we do. Then some months I was like, so how are we doing? How's this account doing? How's this account doing? I'm like, yeah, you're good enough. So right now, because this is not ready, I want you to go on a vacation. It's like, I should go on a vacation. I say yes. That's the whole goal. You've done well this year. You deserve to experience it. Have you been to? I just mentioned one place. Have you been to Kamloops before? Do you know where Kamloops? Do you know where Three Sisters? You don't know? Go. Go check it out. Go to Montreal, go to Quebec. Just go and see what life looks like in all those places. And then she'll be like, all right, let's go. And then go to Singapore, go to Mexico, go because you don't need to deep hand in your pockets now. It is in retrospect. So it's so much an easier way to live life when resources is already waiting for whatever you want to do
You want to
than for you
do.
to say, okay, I want to do, I'm saving towards it. It's so much more difficult. So we just established this and it's been working well, and it's been doing well. She's doing so much more, better than of course, I things I wish I did earlier too. First home
Oh
saving,
my.
your initial what is it called? Your contribution is set, your car money is ready, your insurance money is ready, your policy is doing well, your stocks are growing, and at the end of the day, the wealth is just growing because of time. You don't need to do anything extra. By virtue of time, waking up and sleeping every day, it's growing. And then you see yourself 6 months later, a year later, 2 years, 3 years later, you have wealth. And that is how rich people get richer, because their money can keep working while they are not. Then it gets to a time you can say, I want to totally stop working. It's not a problem because you have systems put in place to continue making income for you. Now, for me, I can't afford to stop working now. Why? Because before I've established all my buckets, I had already incurred a mortgage. I'd already incurred 2 car loans. I'd already incurred children expenses, right? I cannot tell them that they can't go on the school bus now because I'm doing mocha or because I'm doing well simple. So that's it. Or I tell my mortgage guy, sorry, I can't pay this month. I want to put your money in a whole life
Well,
insurance.
simple.
Both me and the insurance, they will take all of us together. So I just learned early. So I just told all of them, but Dami, even Joshua in church, everybody. So do this. Set yourself upright. Set yourself, my colleagues, to know everybody, all the teachers in church, do this. Now is the time before you have all the encumbrances that adulthood brings. You don't
Yes.
have to plan it. Once you have a
Yes.
child, priorities change. Once you get married, priorities change. You can't just up and go to Nunavut because you want to go and see what it looks like. What will you tell Nathan now and
And,
you
and,
just leave
and,
them?
and Dobra.
You and Dobra, what will you tell their dad? That I just want to go and see what Nunavut is like. Who will eat? How will we eat this evening?
Oh my
But
God.
now that they can't do it, so I encourage young people. You have so much to enjoy from the availability of time, more time ahead of you than behind, and the beauty of freedom, responsibility still ahead. So enjoy now. Set things in motion that will make your later sweeter, right? And once those things are set in place, then you're good. Then you're
Oh
good.
my
It will
God.
not, in fact, the adult life will be easier to live then
Oh my
because you don't
God.
need to worry so much.
Oh
Everything is
my.
working,
Oh
you know?
my
So
God.
that's
Oh my
that's
God,
that's it.
Bolu.
That's it.
This is awesome.
Thank you very much.
This is so awesome. I mean, this is just basically everything that the young people out there need to hear and understand.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just takes me to ask you this question, because I mean, if this is what you're doing for your sister and everybody and all of that, the question is, you mentioned something earlier in terms of all the buckets, and you mentioned insurance. What would you respond to people who have, I think recently I was talking to a colleague, and she was sharing with me that, oh, she was trying to talk to a family about their insurance needs and all of that. And then someone said, insurance, why will I insure my children?
Oh my God.
It's
Very
there's
good
no, it
one. Let me
doesn't
let
make
me let me
sense.
let me talk about that.
It
Let me
doesn't
talk
make
about that.
sense. So what will be your response to that?
Yes, let me talk about that. Like I said, the most important thing I found, the most valuable resource I found in life is time.
It's time. Thank you.
When I wanted to do my whole life insurance, to do, I think, $1 million, the whole life policy was going to cost me almost more than $10,000 per annum, right?
Yeah, because
But
it's the
to
most
do,
expensive of all of them.
yes,
Yeah.
because of time, right?
Yeah.
But to do the same $1 million for my child, it was going to be how much? One ridiculous amount per annum. Now, the beauty is this: because the child has more time ahead, they have more time to contribute. If we're running a race, our cutoff mark is 100. I'm starting from 70. You are starting from 10. It means I need to run so much faster
Thank
with
you.
so much more
Oh my God.
energy to be
Thank
able
you.
to achieve the same
Thank you.
100 mark stress within the short 30 points that I have than
That
you
you
that have a
have.
whole 90 points ahead. So when you start a policy on a child, like I said, the goal of the policy is not because you want to collect money from their death. No, you are not going to be around. That's not the point. The goal of it is because of the cash value, the ability to bank yourself. Now, imagine this. One of the things I noticed is for your break-even number of years is between 5 and 7 years, right? So if I'm doing a policy 10,000 every year, by my fifth or seventh year, I will have contributed about, let's just say 50 year, right? 50,000, right? From that year, from year one, I'll be able to take, loan against my policy.
Cash value, yeah.
10,000, my cash value. So maybe I can only get, because I just started, they're still like, okay, you can only get 3K. The next year that I've done 20K, they'll say, okay, good, this guy's good. You can get 12K. But by the time you do your fifth year, 50K, you can now get 50 something K. So that means you have 50K policy, but you can already access more than 50K from it. Totally break even and you are in positive. Then by the time you get to your 10th year, you have 100K in your policy, but you can access up to 170K at once, right? So you hear what? I hear Tesla wants to do stock split. They want to do stock splits. Now is the time everybody's looking at, let me go and mortgage my left toenail to go and buy some Teslas. That's it. So that time you are able to do bulk stuff. Now, this is how it works. Let's do some maths for it. If you want to finance it, you want to buy a car, your car is 30K, right? And you want to finance it, right? So you'll be paying maybe $200 bi-weekly, right? And that's it. At the end of the 8-year period, you will have paid some very 200, that's with 26 payments in a year, right? That's what? That's 500, 5.2 that you
Yeah.
have done in a year times
Yeah.
8 years, right? Times 8 years, that's more than 40 something
40
K
something
for
thousand.
a car of 30K, right? So you actually borrowed 30K and paid back almost, 20 something K interest on it that you
Yes.
dashed the bank.
Yes.
You actually
Yes.
dashed the bank, the owner of the bank.
The-
So somebody who is an entrepreneur, you too will be saying, I'm an entrepreneur. My business is I own a bank. You are the person he's referring to as his source of income. The interest
yes.
you're paying is what he
Because you're
borrowed
the one
away
paying
with
the
as his
interest.
money.
Yeah.
Now, what happens to your bank? This your whole life insurance is this. If you have, you know, 30K in your policy and you take your cash value, you borrow 30K from your cash value, and you decide to be faithful about it, you pay yourself back the same way you will have paid the
You
bank.
pay the bank.
It means that extra 22K will have gone back into your policy. So now your policy will have grown so much faster that way. So at the end of the day, I've seen someone, and that's my goal, who completely paid off their mortgage from their cash value.
Yes.
He just went one card tap, just went there and used his card, tapped, put pin, and paid off his mortgage. And I'm like, where have I been all my life? You understand? Because I'm starting so late, right? But imagine my son who is able to start so much earlier. So now, effectively, the calculation I saw that made me know that this is the way to go. I saw someone who just finished school, 21 years, wanted to start a policy, started a 6K policy. By the time they were 20, I think it was 28 or so, it was already free of any encumbrance of money. He had enough money in his cash value that he didn't need to take a loan for anything again. He was able
For
to
just six
fund his own
thousand
life.
per annum.
6K per annum, not even
And
per
he,
month.
and he contributed for about 6 years or 7 years.
Yes, no, about 7 years. he had gotten to a place where everything he wanted to do, he could fund it from his own bank. So all the interest he should have paid somebody else
He's
came
going
back to
back into
himself.
his policy.
So when it came back to himself, his policy grew bigger. So the first thing he wanted to do, I want to get a motorcycle. He was able to get it. He paid back himself diligently, faithfully, and then next he was able to get a car, and the next he was able to get his initial contribution to buy his own house. And I'm like, wow, that's it. So all your interest just comes back to you. That's the beauty of it.
You.
Now the beauty of it for children is like, because they don't need anything in life until they are old, but you have been doing contribution for them. The goal is this: when you give birth to a child, you start a policy on that child immediately, 0 years before they're 18. When they become an adult and they want to start life, they're already a
You would have.
millionaire.
You,
That child will already be a millionaire. So they're free of the banking industry entirely. And if, of course, with good education, and you will have helped them realize that, okay, so this is how it's not that you have a million to blow, to spend. No, it's that your bank has a capitalization of $1 million. So if you use it well, it would just blow up, right? So the earlier you start, the better, right? That's what I tell people. Now, a lot of people that are thinking of insurance just for, if anything happens to daddy, if anything happens to mom, if anything happens, then there's so many other things you can do. Time insurance, universal insurance, all those ones don't have it. But if you want to do, become your own banker, whole life is the way to go. And this is the value that comes from it, right? You'll be able to, I've been doing this for years now. So I know the number of things I've been able to, do for myself. And the beautiful thing is you are your own banker, right? So if you borrow money from yourself, you don't have a schedule to follow to pay. You pay when you like, when you want, right? It's unlike the bank,
exactly.
Hyundai or
Where
mortgage.
once you miss a payment,
They send you letter. By the third one, they are repossessing whatever you bought, right? Whether it's house, whether it's car, they are repossessing it. Now, if you borrow money from yourself and you can't pay this month because something happened, yeah, you just don't pay. It's your money, right? And at the end of the day, but the beautiful thing is, I know people, if you don't pay the whole year, nothing happens. It's your money. But the beautiful thing is how it grows is if you're faithful with it. The same way you
yeah,
will not default against
meet with the
CIBC or
banks. Yeah,
default against in credit servers. Don't default against yourself. Be good
yes,
to yourself, and then
yes,
you'll be fine. So the
yes.
more you can do that, the better breathing space you have in the future. And the more your money works for you, the less you have to work for your money, because your money is working for you. You're just switching that boss servant dynamics. Right now, you're working for your money. You are the worker, the money is the boss. But when you switch it around, the money is working for you, your money becomes the servant, you become the boss. So you can afford to just, say, today I'm not going out. I'm staying at home, and you don't lose anything. Why? Because the guy doing the work is doing it, and he's going to bring
Yes,
rewards at the end of the day.
yes,
That's it. That's the
yes.
beautiful thing. So time is the most important thing. So I
Thank
encourage
you.
everybody to first educate yourself about it. Go online, become your own banker. That's it. Just get it right and start from there. Or go on YouTube and watch it and watch videos about it.
I
Right?
have read the book. I have read
Exactly.
the book. I have.
I
I
mean,
mean,
in
it's
fact,
just.
see, right beside my table now, I'm reading one now. Don't spread the
Don't
wealth.
spread the wealth. I have it. I have
You
it in
have
my
it there.
library.
Exactly. So
I have it in my
the
library.
more people know, the better the decision they can make about life. And we have just one. You can't say, oh, now that I'm 75, I've learned all the lessons. I'll go back to 18 and go and start making the right decisions. No, you can only tell somebody else
Totally,
back then.
totally agree
Yeah.
with you, Bolu.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
I
much.
mean, you just practically with the stories and the experience, you just practically taught us everything about legacy planning.
That's it. That's
I
it.
mean, this is like you said, I mean, insurance, yes, all life, it's one of the most expensive, but it
Yes.
actually also meets, especially if you're not if you're not if you're not a risk
Take care, right? So
taker,
you don't,
yeah.
yeah, you don't
So
even know what to do
it's
with your money
so
used exactly.
generally permanent life insurance, it's basically about planning. It's
That's it.
basically about future. It's not, they are not products that is until you die. So that's the category where all life and universal life falls into. just that, like you mentioned and you explained, each has. So basically, it's just to reach out and see what suits and what meets your need. Additionally, is also that, you know, as we talk about financial planning, nobody is planning to die.
Yeah.
It's not about death. It's about, securing a legacy. The legacy we are talking about here is not until you die and you pass it on. It's a legacy that while you are alive, and that's just basically everything you have shared, life insurance and putting those buckets, putting structure to your, directing where your money flows, so that it doesn't feel like when you receive that money at the end of the day, or you're doing business and that money comes in, it feels like, I have money. Because when it's not tied to anything, it looks as if I have so much money, and then it just flows away. I can tell my story. I mean, I know. So when you are coming from a pain point, so I understand you when you're saying that, oh, I mean, the things that I've learned from the mistakes, and we started, and that's the reason why we are here, and we are sharing and saying it out there, so that people can learn. Just so that we round off in one sentence, what does protect what matters mean to you personally?
All right. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so very quickly, like you said, it's about when and like you said, it's not about death, right? But we're all going to grow old, where we will now have more years behind us than in front. Especially when you're now getting to the place where you feel like, I think I'm beginning to share the grace. Maybe it's just surely and peace be unto you. That's all that is left. But you feel, but then you now look behind. You want to like the life you have lived. You want to be able to say, yeah, I think I was good. I think I'm good. And guys come around, your children, grandchildren, great grandchildren, and it's high fives they're giving grandpas, and everybody's good. You're not a burden to them, because oh, grandpa is coming again. Oh my god. Because you don't have a place to stay, or they have evicted you in your old people's home because you can't pay for it, or you are a health hazard, those kind of things. Everybody just you just want to enjoy life as a whole, and not have regrets, right? That's the whole goal, right? So
Yeah.
now is the time to do what matters, to protect what matters, so that that can be the outcome. That's the goal. That's the output. I'm a process person, like I said, I'm a technology consultant, so that's how I think, right? It's a case of, what do I need to do now for the outcome I want? what
Yeah.
what are the
Yes.
you can't cook jollof rice by snapping your finger. No, you have to
Yeah.
mix the ingredients
Yeah.
together, and the outcome will now be the rice. So you have to know the type of rice you want to get at the end, and that's what determines what you mix together. So that's the goal. Now I want a lot of people to think about that end. A lot of people they're just mixing things together, hoping whatever comes out comes out. No, that's not it. Have a clear goal of what should it be at the end. Then what are the things I need to mix together now to get
To get that
that food,
future
that
that I
cooking, yeah?
desire.
And that's it. So, and that's how to show that you're protecting what matters to you. And at the
Thank
end of the
you.
day, by God's grace, we will have no regrets, and God will be proud of us. That, yes, well done, good and faithful servant. You multiplied the talents I gave you, right? You did well in all these other talents, in all these other areas, right? That's the goal. That's the goal.
This is
Thank you.
beautiful. It's been a beautiful session with you,
My
Bolu.
pleasure.
Thank you so much for honoring this session, for coming to share this experience and what you're doing with, the young people around you. It's so much to take away. Thank you so much. God bless you for what you are doing. To our viewers, we have come to the end of this session. I'm sure a lot of us have been able to take a lot from um, our guests today. Bolu has shared so much with what he's doing, the impact that he's making. I'm sure you cannot listen to this session and go away and go back the same way. You should not remain the same. I mean,
Yeah.
you cannot remain the same after hearing what you have heard from Bolu today. So, if you need help, this is why we are here. You can reach out to me. You can book a time with me on my calendar. Let's talk about it. Let's try and help you put structure in place. Let's try and help you put let's look at the insurance need that is applicable to you now. The good thing about insurance is that it is flexible. But the most important thing is that your insurability is how young and how healthy you are.
Exactly,
How young and how
exactly.
healthy you are.
It gets
And
more
then that time
expensive the
that will
older and this
yes,
exactly and sicker
exactly. And that time that you have for you to start building and allowing your money to start
to work
working
for
for
you.
you.
Yes, yes.
Okay? So reach out, book a time on my calendar. Let's review what you have. Let's look at where I mean what is lacking so that we can properly start your wealth journey. Once again, I appreciate your time tonight, Bolu. Thank you so much. God bless you. Keep doing what you are doing.
Thank you
God
so
bless
much.
you. Thank
Amen.
you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Have
much.
a great time.
All right. And you too. Good night, everyone. Yeah. Bye.